Hi, it's Jane with Scraptastic Yarns, and I kind of have a little bit of a mishmash of everything. As you know, there are bags that are on sale in the shop. Some of them are marked down 15%, some are, I think it's 15%, some are 25%. So, you know, nice little sale. I had a friend who was cleaning out their craft area, and so they gave me 3 balls of this plush, I guess you call it blanket yarn. So I had 3 balls to figure out what to do with, something to do with that, you know. It's been a while since I've worked with it, so I'm not real sure about it, you know what I mean? And I have been working on, sorry about that, dropping things left and right. Been working on the stitching for the baseball hats for the Little League. So have a couple of those knit ones done. Still haven't done some of the crocheted ones. I find this hand is troublesome because it's hard to hold things when your fingers are numb. It's such an interesting thing. Really it is. But, you know, I'm continuing to work on it and find ways around it, so. The shawl, I believe I have 5 more rows left, and then it will be done. I'm hoping to get that done this week. In between everything else I'm doing, who knows, I may or may not get it done. Still have a garage full of boxes. Well, it's not full, it's about half full of boxes that need to be put here or there or whatnot, and places found for things, you know. Thought it would go faster than it has, and it hasn't. So, and my son, you know, he teases because he knows I'm pretty much driven when I want to get things done, get them out. I get them out. But it's just like, you know, I just don't have the gumption. It's been hot here. I need to get out there outside and do some weed eating, things like that, and just haven't got to it either. I will tell you, I have been doing some sewing, but today I was at Walmart. And you know, I gotta go down the Walmart aisle, right? I know everybody's been showing this, but I got some. 2 skeins of that speckle. And it's Super Saver Jumbo Speckle, light blue speckle. There are 10 ounces in it, 482 yards. And I got 2 of them. There were 2 on the shelf. So I picked up 2. I thought about getting one of the other colors to go with it. And I was like, no, I don't know. I don't really like the way it looks. So I think I'll go back in the back and see what I have that will work with that yarn. For sewing, I have been working on getting curtains for my front door. And this is the fabric that I chose. It features birds and, let's see, dragonflies. So, goes with the furniture. And yes, I do know I haven't given you a proper tour, but it's because everything is all over the place and it's a mess. And I have boxes everywhere that are semi-broken down. I have a friend who's going to be moving in a month or so, wants the boxes. I really don't have a place to put the boxes. Can't put them outside because of the rain. So what are you going to do? So they're kind of broke down in the house, flattened out, that kind of thing. Now I have also been making garbage bag holders. I made a couple for me, and I am making a few others that I will be putting up in the shop. Probably next week. I don't know if I'll get them done this week. I'm not really pushing it because I'm trying, like I said, I'm really trying to get things done in the rest of the house, get it all taken care of, that kind of thing. And I thought it would be fairly easy to find a landscaper. It's not all that easy. So I did find one that came out, and he said he would do everything, but he doesn't want to contour that front because it is a mess, and I don't blame him. But he said he does have a high school student who might be willing to take on that job, so he's going to find that high school student and see if he would like to make a few extra bucks, get it done. Landscaping is a pain, you know? And I had already decided I wasn't going with the contractor. The contractor considers himself a landscaper, but I'm not going to let him touch it because of the whole issue with the grass and because the way that they didn't contour that. So, yeah. And there's bamboo down there. Bamboo is a pain in the butt to get rid of. We tried the whole thing, the natural thing, where we cut it as close down to the bottom of the root as you could get to, you know, the stalk, hollow out a little bit, poured in salt, baking soda, and vinegar, extra strength vinegar, cleaning strength vinegar. Put boxes on top of it, poured more vinegar on top of the boxes. That stuff grew right through the boxes. Supposedly that's a home remedy to kill it, and apparently it was not enough, so it didn't kill it. Like I said, my brother-in-law suggested that what I need to do is go to a farm supply store and get remedy and do the same thing, cut it down as low as I can get it, you know, hollow out the stalk and pour remedy in straight out. No dilution whatsoever. So I'm looking for some place in the area that has it. I think Lowe's in our area carries it, but I need to make sure. So, you know, and those are things that you got to do on your own when you live alone, unless you have someone to do it. Like I said, I don't have a landscaper or someone yet. I do have someone that once it's all done is willing to work on it, but he doesn't want to build up the landscaping, that kind of thing. So it's been rather interesting. That's all I'm going to say. Trying to get that done, trying to get everything done, trying to get things put away in the house, and then remember where I put the things. You wouldn't think that that would be that hard, but man, is it ever. And sometimes I laugh because I'm like, why'd you put it there, Jane? You wouldn't have put that there in a regular kitchen. Why would you put it there in this kitchen? Oh, yeah, it's been crazy. So, and the weather here has been so hot. Like I said, today it was extremely hot. Too hot to go out and do anything. Now that it's cooled down, it rained, and now it's dark. So, you know, can't get out there and do that. So, yeah, kind of wait and see, and hopefully the rest of the week will calm itself down. I understand it's not going to be rainy and humid this rest of the week, so should be able to get back there and, you know, get some of that stuff done. And aren't you glad that Connie finally revealed her secret? I knew it was going to be a kitty. I didn't know if it was going to be a kitten or an older cat. So I'm really thrilled that she has a new cat in her life. I was about ready to adopt some kittens, and I'm rather glad that I didn't have to do that yet, because like I said, I'm just not ready. You know, I don't want them to get hurt in the mess. Or get lost in the mess. Maybe that's what I don't want. I don't want them to get lost in the mess. All right, are you ready for a little what in Tarnation? It's a short one. lately it seems, that it's harder and harder to get things out, so I'm just doing the best I can. All right, Lioness defies gravity to escape 7 male lions. It's a rather interesting picture. This lioness climbed the highest tree around to escape the love interest of 7 male lions that were after her. Rosa Start of Seasoned Wildlife Enthusiasts had this extraordinary experience during one of her annual visits to the park. She shared the story and images with latestsightings.com. When we are working and could only go to Kruger once a year for 3 weeks, we would leave the camp at gate opening time and return at gate closing time. They were long, hot, tiring days, but we couldn't miss a minute of not being out looking for animals. After 2 weeks of early starts, endless preparations, and non-stop exploration, I finally felt the exhaustion creeping in. I decided that the following morning I would enjoy a well-deserved lion, skip the morning safari drive. Little did I know that fate had other plans in store for me. Despite my firm decision to stay back at the camp, my husband convinced me otherwise. Playfully teasing me, he warned that he might encounter something extraordinary like a lion up a tree. These words were all it took to change my mind. I couldn't resist the temptation of missing out on a potentially remarkable sighting, and in an instant I was ready to head out once again. We've been driving on the S-28 heading south when we approached a tall, straight tree. My eyes widened in amazement. There, perched right on top of the tree, was a lioness. To my surprise, beneath the tree, not 1, not 2, but 7 male lions lay in wait. The lioness was in estrus, and in her desperate attempt to escape the relentless males, she had taken refuge at the top of the tree. After some time, the lioness became uncomfortable and agitated. She eventually decided to jump down from the high tree. As soon as the lioness touched the ground, the male lions chased her. We were not able to see how things had ended. The lioness ran into the thick undergrowth and disappeared out of sight, with 7 very excited male lions right on her tail. When you see the photo of how this lioness was on this tree, amazing, just amazing. Single baboon stuck between 20 wild dogs. A lone baboon found itself surrounded by a pack of African wild dogs. In a rare encounter, it had to find a way out. 34-year-old Marcel Kuhn, an online personal trainer and avid wildlife enthusiast, had this unforgettable sighting during the camping trip in Cedar in Kruger National Park, South Africa. Shared his footage and story with latestsightings.com. It was an early morning drive down the H1-3 towards Skakuza, the air filled with anticipation as we left behind the open plains that surround Santara Rest Camp. As we neared the Takashwani picnic spot, a pack of wild dogs emerged on the road. Wild dogs, also known as African painted dogs, are an endangered species, and witnessing them in action is a rare privilege. For the next half hour, we followed the pack with excitement and wonder. The wild dogs then ran into a troop of baboons. Most of the baboons scattered out of sight at the wild dogs, but to their surprise, one brave baboon stood his ground. Fearlessly he faced the formidable pack, refusing to back down in the face of danger. The lone baboon showed no signs of panic and stood as if it were not surrounded by Africa's most successful hunter. The African wild dog, with an 80 successful hunt rate, is one of the most feared jaws in the bush, but not for this baboon. We held our breath as the standoff between the baboon and the wild dog pack continued. Despite the intensity of the moment, the confrontation lasted only about a minute. The wild dogs, seemingly losing interest, eventually retreated into the bushes. My theory as to why the wild dogs didn't attack the brave baboon is that these intelligent animals were well aware of the baboon's fearsome canine teeth, which are longer than even a lion's. Knowing the potential harm the baboon can cause, the wild dogs may have considered the confrontation not worth it. Thank goodness, right? Let me get a drink. This next story I find rather interesting because I've had an animal that we had a mistaken gender with it. We had a cat, very Persian calico cat. When we checked it, we looked at it and was like, oh, it's female. So we named the cat Sheba. Well, about 6.5 months later, I decided it's time to get Sheba fixed. Take her into the vet, and Sheba is a male. By the time we got there, Sheba was so used to the name, so we just left Sheba. I wonder if cats go through identity crises or not, but apparently Sheba loved his name, and he was a beautiful cat. Gorilla, mistakenly believed to be a male, gives birth at Columbus Zoo. A gorilla whose zookeepers had thought to be a male was only discovered to be female when she was found holding her new baby girl. Zookeepers at the Columbus Zoo in Ohio said in a statement that the 8-year-old Sully, a western lowland gorilla, has lived at the facility with her mother and fellow troop members since 2019. For 5 years, the zoo believed she was male. It's hard to tell the sex of younger gorillas until about age 8. Males and females are about the same size, and they don't have prominent sex organs. As gorillas age, they become sexually dimorphic, meaning males and females look very different. However, males don't develop their characteristic large size, silverbacks, large head bumps called sagittal crest until age 12 or later. Zookeepers describe Sully as a young and healthy animal who did not need any procedures or medical care that would have led up to the discovery sooner. The gestation period for a gorilla is about 8.5 months, meaning she became pregnant late in the fall. Gorillas rarely show outward signs of pregnancy because the newborns are smaller than human babies and gorillas naturally have large abdomens. The troop is supportive of Sully and the infant, and they will remain as a social group. The infant appears to be healthy, and first-time mom Sully is taking good care of her. Zookeepers have not yet approached the infant, also a girl, to allow time to bond with her mother. Eventually, veterinarians will approach to conduct a wellness exam, which will also have a DNA test to determine the baby's father. Sully and the infant live in a troop that has 3 males led by 39-year-old Silverback Mac. People and their collections. Wisconsin woman amasses collection of 23,632 Winnie the Pooh items. And there's video. A Wisconsin woman who has held the Guinness World Record for the largest collection of Winnie the Pooh memorabilia since 2008 said her collection now amounts to 23,632 unique items. Deb Hoffman of Waukesha, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, first earned the record in 2008 when she had 2,891 pieces related to A.A. Milne's fictional toy bear, and her record has now been updated by the Guinness World Records. Hoffman's home is filled with Pooh paraphernalia, including stuffed animals, toys, clothing, costumes, jewelry, watches, paintings, and more. I'm having so much fun collecting, meeting people, doing different things. Boy, I just don't see an end in sight, Hoffman told WTMJ TV. She said the recognition from Guinness World Records and previous features in news stories have led to her receiving hundreds of items from complete strangers. And isn't that amazing that people do that kind of thing? That is sweet. I'm shocked and amazed at how often the items are not duplicates, she said. Hoffman said she plans to keep collecting for the rest of her life. She even has a plan for what will happen after. I always say when I go to the big honeypot in the sky, I'm actually going to donate the whole collection to the museum in Canada where Winnie the Pooh's story actually started. Animal officer swims in river to rescue a kitten from a log. Oh. An animal services officer in Texas swam out onto the river in his full uniform to rescue a kitten spotted stranding on a floated log. Seguin Animal Services posted a series of photos to Facebook showing Field Supervisor Brendan Moore swimming in the Guadalupe River and carrying the kitten back to shore. Animal Services said the kitten had been stranded on a log floating downriver near a boat ramp. The cat was taken back to the Animal Services. There's no telling how long she was on the log, or it was on the log. They said Animal Services said the kitten will be put up for adoption if no owner comes forward to claim it. Squirrels. Crazy critters. Animal rescuers and firefighters in Britain came to the assistance of a squirrel found 30 feet up in a tree with a discarded toilet paper tube stuck around its neck. Its head. The RSPCA said Animal Rescue Officer Dave Holgate responded to a call about a squirrel in distress in Meanwood, Leeds, England. He arrived to find the rodent on a tree branch about 30 feet up with a cardboard tube stuck around its head. Holgate called the local fire brigade for assistance, and they were able to use specialist poles to bring the squirrel down to the ground. Holgate said he was able to remove the tube and release the squirrel back into the wild. It was a good job the squirrel was spotted, as he would have been unable to feed and was obviously terrified. Litter is one of the biggest hazards our wildlife faces today, and it's something that's very easy to resolve. That's right. We've always had campaigns, don't litter. Lately I've been seeing commercials, but don't litter. How hot is it? Well, we saw the story on Facebook about the woman who cooked lasagna in her mailbox. Here's one the National Weather Station did. National Weather Service bakes cookies in a hot car in Texas. National Weather Service personnel in Texas put the record heat wave to good use by baking a batch of cookies on the dashboard of a hot car. The National Weather Service office in Midland said in a Facebook post it was about 105 degrees Fahrenheit outside and 190 degrees in the car when the cookie dough was placed on the dashboard. The cookies were left to cook for about 4.5 hours. The National Weather Service said the cookies weren't quite golden brown, but they were fully cooked. I can confirm they are done and delicious, the National Weather Service employees wrote. Officials said the project highlights the dangers of hot cars. The heat is still incredibly dangerous to anyone left in a hot car. Look before you lock, they wrote. And as always, if you have children in your car, you have a child with you, always look in the back seat. One of the best things you can do is put your purse, wallet, cell phone in the back, so you have to look and see the child so you don't forget that your child is there, because it can kill. All right, guys, that is it for today's podcast. I'm not going to do a devotional today because the book's over there. So, as always, I'm just going to tell you, be kind to one another, love one another, and as always, get out there and see this big, beautiful world we live in, and be the light that someone needs in their life today. See you guys soon. Bye.